Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe2 Love, here with your AEW Dynamite review for March 24, 2021. Bunch to go over on the show today. The episode of Dynamite overall was a quality show. Had some fun matches. Kenny Omega, Matt Sydal. The six-man tag team match for the Pinnacle. We also had the Young Bucks. First and Brandon Cutler first the Lucha Brothers and the returning Laredo Kid, as well as the TNT Championship match between Darby Allin and John Silver's. Let's go over. But first, before I get into the review, I want to say that NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, a two-night part are a two-night pay-per-view next week, TakeOver, and it's been a while since I've obviously reviewed NXT on this channel, but I'll figure that because I've still been following with NXT, keep it short. Next week I will be doing a review of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver because it seems like a fun card and should be interesting. But just want to touch on that. Now, let's get into the review now, shall we? So, the show started off in a fun way. Was Kenny Omega versus Matt Sydal. This was an AEW World Title Eliminator match. If Matt Sydal won, you would get a future. Excuse me. I throw those out, but a future AEW World Title match in the future. This was stemming off of Elevation last week. From what I saw. Nonetheless, so apparently Matt Sydal's been racking up wins. They said he was 7-1. But this was a solid match, though, between the two. Both have history from New Japan. And this was a fun match. They had a little back and forth. And then getting into the match, Matt Sydal hit a brainbuster. Rocked Omega with a kick. Hit the lightning spiral for a near fall. Omega caught. He actually caught Matt Sydal, who's going for a Meteora, and thrown back into the turnbuckle. Him with a powerbomb and V-trigger for a close near fall. Then Omega went for the one-winged angel, counter into a poison Rana. Then Sydal went for airside elbows, crotch on the top rope. Then Omega went for the one-winged angel again, counter to a victory roll for a very, very close near fall. And then Omega followed up with a V-trigger, hit the one-winged angel, and that was how the match ended. It was a fun open to Dynamite, right outcome. If this was WWE, Matt Sydal would have probably won, But nonetheless, this is the right outcome. Fun match. Good start to Dynamite. Then we had Hangman Page for Cesar Bononi. Short but sweet. Cesar Bononi is really talented. You can tell by the look. Um, excuse me. He is definitely the cream of the crop in the tag team. I don't know why he's with Pierre Avalon, but I guess he gives them something to do. Short and sweet. Page hit the buckshot lariat for the win. Then Page was drinking after. Simple. So then we had a promo by Lance Archer. It looked to be sitting somewhere in some alley or behind some garbage trucks. So he talked about Sting, talked about his heyday, how once the bat meant something for Sting. He was holding a bat, or Sting's bat, and talked about how Sting is a legend, but soon the paths will cross and he will get his time. So then we had Tony Schiavone interview Dr. Britt Baker. Britt got an applause from the crowd that was there. Fans were there. And Britt Baker, first of all, she claimed her applause was pathetic as Thunder Rosa. Talked about what she put her body through and how Thunder Rosa should be thanking her for the rest of her career for what she had to go through. And she said, well, if Thunder Rosa is the best in the division, then why is everyone talking about her after the match? So, and then she called out Mick Foley, talked about how it took him 20 years to be a hardcore legend, and she did it in one night. So, very good promo by Britt. Obviously happy she's okay after what she put herself through in that match last week, but yeah, good showing. So then we had the in-ring debut of the Pinnacle. We had FTR and Shawn Spears versus the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin of Top Flight. So this is a nice short little match. Varsity Blondes, they've been showing improvement week by week. They're still very young. Dante Martin, we know how young and talented Top Flight is. But this was obviously about the Pinnacle, FTR, and Shawn Spears. So I like their music. I like their theme or their Titantron. It's very interesting, very evolution, Four Horsemen-esque. But I enjoyed it. This short match, C4 by Shawn Spears for the win. Afterwards, MJF called out the Inner Circle, knowing they wouldn't show up. Says he expects Jericho to be out quite a while after that attack. So, and I mean, good showing by all 6 competitors, I would say, in this match. And the Pinnacle is 1-0. So then we had a promo by QT Marshall. He talked about his actions as of late. He talked about Cody, talked about people reference him as one of Cody's friends. Says that he challenges Cody to an exhibition to step out of Cody's shadow. And then Cody came out of gorilla with his arm in a sling. Cody praised QT Marshall and accepted their exhibition and said Arm Anderson will be the referee. So I'm curious how it's going to go next week because Marshall has been showing some heelish, has been channeling his heelish ways the last few weeks. Cody has gotten a lot of hate lately, and I'm just curious where it's going to go. And it was announced that Cody Rhodes and Brandy, they're going to be featured on a reality TV show, or their version, which I'm hesitant about, but it is what it is. So then we had a fun 6-man tag between our trios match. I was curious because they kept saying trios matches tonight, which make me think they're closer and closer to for those trios titles to come along. But so we had the returning Laredo Kid and the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. They said Pac was injured, so that's why we got Laredo Kid, But this was fun. Fast-paced offense, as you can expect by these 6 competitors. Was a top rope moonsault by Kid that took everybody out on the outside. Then a hot tag to Penta, crossbody by Phoenix, beautiful crossbody for a near fall. Then beautiful offense, first stomp off the top rope by Penta, then a senton by Phoenix for a near fall. Beautiful exchange between Nick Jackson and Phoenix. Took each other out. Was a risky business. That followed by an elbow drop by Brandon Cutler for a near fall. Then Indy Taker and everyone else would take it out outside the ring. And then Laredo Kid with a beautiful top rope Spanish fly on Brandon Cutler for the win. Just a really exciting, fast-paced tag team match between them all. Right outcome. I mean, I would think that if Pac was there, part of the Death Triangle, that perhaps he or Penta would have gotten the win or Brandon Cutler, but right outcome. And good match. Then we had Nyla Rose versus Ty Conti. Ty Conti is apparently the number 1 contender. She's been shown more prominently as of late. This was a rematch of the women's title tournament. This is a fun match, though. Back and forth. I didn't see much of it because sadly I was in the bathroom, but it was a good match for what it was. Conti's improved. She hit the D tie, her version, the Hammerlock DT, for the win. Afterwards, so there was kind of chaos. Sheeta attacked Rose, saving Conti, and then Bunny intervened, and then Matt Hardy and Sydal was on the stage. So very strange. Strange way to end a good match between the two. But I'm happy to see the improvement of Conti and now Rose. And that's what you need to see. You need to see the Achilles heel, which their women's division, improve. Then we get to the main event. Darby Allin for not Sean. I was thinking about this tag team match earlier. Darby Allin for John Silver's TNT Championship. This was a fun match. Good match to end Dynamite. It was also curious because, with Darby Allin, he's usually the crash test dummy used in his matches. Now, facing a guy who's relatively his size and John Silver's, how is it going to go down? Nonetheless, it was still a good match. Darby Allin got his offense in, as well as John Silver's. Brainbuster by Silver's for a near fall. And then, when they came out of commercial break, Silvers was sent over the barricade in a little scary spot, which he landed on his head, might have. And Alex Reynolds came over the barricade to check on it, his tag team partner. Luckily, Silvers was okay, came back in, and while the 10 count was coming, Darby Allin went for a suicida, but he instead hit Alan Angel's number 5 instead of hitting John Silver's, so sacrificing himself. And then a German on the outside by Silver's. Then a weird tornado DT by Silver's for a near fall. Excuse me. Then they were exchanging on top rope, but Silver's his swinging like slam off the top rope for a near fall. And then Silver's went for a powerbomb, but Darby countered to the code red for the win. Afterwards, Matt Hardy's brand, Sable came in and is a brawl, which ended Dynamite strange way to win the show, but nonetheless, the show had good moments. It was a quality show besides the ending and the brawls, the chaos. It was a quality show. Also, next week will be the in-ring debut of Christian Cage and AEW. It will be Christian Cage versus Frankie Kazarian. So, interesting match to look forward to next week. But, like I said, quality show. And so that was the review, guys. Yeah, not much. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you're new to the podcast, like and subscribe, click on that bell. Went through this pretty quick, but still nonetheless solid show. And I'll be back next week with your sports review topics, AEW review, and NXT Takeover Stand Deliver review. So thank you all. Peace.